And here's the thing, we actually can. Women can give from an empty cup until it is shattering. We're so good at it.
Yeah.
We're so good at it, but that cup breaks eventually.
Oh, it does.
Really does. And so when we can start recognizing the signs of when we start to feel depleted, it is on you. You have taught others how they can treat you.
Yeah. Yeah.
You really have. And that hurts and that sucks to be able to say, but the more you can accept that and take control over that, the better chance you're going to have of making it right for yourself. And I think something that gets talked about a lot or gets perceived like incorrectly in this field is that life gets easier as you grow. And it just doesn't. However, you become more capable to navigate it.
Welcome, my magnificent ones. Sue Paulson here, your magnificence mentor. And we're here with Magnify Your Magnificence. I'm so excited today because, of course, you know, this is the place where you can soothe your doubts and fears. It's a place to open to and explore all that we are. And, of course, to journey back to our magnificent selves, which we all are. I'm delighted today to have a guest. Amy Lenius is joining me today, and we're going to talk about her take on magnificence and the work that she's doing. Amy is a director of group coaching at Next Level University, and she's also a personal development and success coach in her own right. So she hails from Ontario, Canada, so we're kind of at opposite parts of the country. And I love that. I love those connections. And so welcome to the show, Amy. I'm so delighted to have you here.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm excited to be here too. And it's not very often we get a fellow Canadian coming together. So that's exciting. I'm so excited to be here and to connect with you. And I can already tell I'm obsessed with your show and what you stand for. So I can't wait to have our conversation today.
Oh, that's wonderful. Yes. Well, we'll dive right in here. So I wanted to take you back to think of like seventh grade when they started to ask us, well, what do you want to be? Like, it's time you start thinking about your career and so on. So in entering the workforce, um, did you have any belief about what it was that was going to take you to success? Like, did you have a vision for yourself of in that youthful exuberance? Okay, what do I want to be?
Yeah. Yes. And a huge no.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, I knew what I wanted as far as family and children. I always wanted to be a mom. Always, always. And at least I remember in grade 7, they didn't take it super seriously yet. So you were allowed to be like, you know what, I'm not really sure yet. And I knew I wasn't allowed to write down mom. They told me that early on. It's not a career, Amy. I was like, to differ. But in grade 7, yeah, no, I was still allowed to explore that topic. I was allowed to not be certain. And then I remember later, like in high school, in like 10th, 11th grade, and they asked again. And I remember being like, I am so determined. I want to write down mom. I was not career driven whatsoever in my youth at all. Had no idea. And I wanted to write down mom. And I remember doing that and then getting in trouble. Amy, you can't do that. That was when it was like, no, you have to put something down. You have to pick a career and we need you to go study it and maybe interview some people. You know, before we weren't using the internet even much at that time. So it was, you need to go, talk to people in person. And so I entertained the idea of teaching.
Sure.
So I wrote down teacher, and then I went around my high school, interviewed all the teachers, and they all told me not to do it. Not a single one that said, yes, Amy, become
really?
It's amazing. It's so rewarding. So I was like, well, I love kids. I knew at that point that I liked educating in certain ways. I liked empowering people with information. Again, I wouldn't have put it in those terms back then.
No.
It's always 2020, right?
Of course.
And so I went around and then I was just like, well, I'm still going to keep my answer because I'm not redoing this paper. But
enough already.
I had no set, like my eyes set on a career whatsoever, except for becoming a parent and having like a beautiful family life.
Sure. So then what happened? So you get out of high school.
Yeah, get out of high school, still had no idea what I wanted to do. So I traveled for a little while
Nice. Nice.
and, funded that through things like bartending and golf courses and things like that. And then when I started looking into careers, because I wanted to do some post-secondary, but I didn't want to jump into it without, any idea. Like so many of my friends were going into, well, I'm just going to go get my Bachelor of Arts degree or whatever that is. And
Right.
we all know that's very rare you can use that as a career
Oh,
nowadays. So
almost never.
almost never.
Just proves you had the resilience to get through
To
4 years of.
jump right into school again after
Yeah.
elementary school, high school, and just jump right in. I was like, oh, I don't think I want to do that.
Yeah.
I would like a break. I would like some time. I would like to discover who I am in the world as an adult-ish.
Yes.
And so then I started looking into, okay, well, what's practical? What can I get out of schooling where I come out with something that says, I am this? And I
Right.
looked at travel agent. I looked at, my parents were really big on hairdressing. Amy, become a hairdresser. Everyone needs their haircut. It's never going to go away. And I was like,
Always have a steady income.
yeah, I was like, oh, I don't know. It wasn't for me. It wasn't for me. And I looked into it and I went to one of the schools in my city and I was like, oh, no. And then I knew I loved the human body. I loved anatomy and physiology. I loved learning. I loved biology and all of those things. And I was like, well, I'm not going to become a nurse or a doctor. I knew that right away. I grew up actually really sick. So during this time, I had a chronic illness as well. And through my youth and my teenage years and my early 20s, I was dealing really heavily with something called endometriosis, a very
Ooh.
female hormone driven condition,
Mm-hmm.
inflammatory chronic pain, all the fun things. And so I had had some not so great experiences in the medical system. And I knew if I went in, it would be in a rebellious way. And then I
Ah.
realized I don't like needles whatsoever. I don't want to give them. I don't want to get them. So
Mm-hmm.
I was not going to be a good fit there. So I ended up actually going to school to become an RMT, to become a massage therapist
Ah.
in a therapeutic setting. And so that's where my professional career started as far as anything. And I thrived in that kind of schooling where it was dedicated to something specific. And I learned a lot about the human body and anatomy and physiology, which helped me
Sure.
understand my illness and things as well. And those two things kind of combined into, believe it or not, where I am now. But there's a bit of a pathway that happened there.
Sure, sure. Wow. So isn't it interesting the twists and turns that our lives can take, sometimes starting from, oh, I don't know what I want to be when I grow up. I'm not even sure if I want to grow up.
Yeah.
Well, that's amazing. I'm curious now. Certainly, you're working in the not only group coaching but personal development and success coaching. So when you think of the, I noticed in your profile you mentioned that your work was rooted in self-worth, self-belief, and consistency. So when you think of the women that you work with, when they come to you for coaching, what are they most struggling with? Like what's on their hearts and minds? Why are they with you?
A through line of a lot of the women that I attract, and actually most, it's very rare you come across a woman who has high self-worth. Very rare. Like true
Mhm.
self-worth, not
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
insecure, so I'm gonna act like I'm up here. I'm talking like true self-worth.
Mhm.
That one is, I think, a through line amongst all women. We're very rarely set up for success to have high self-worth.
Mhm.
And then self-belief varies. So let's define the two so we know what the heck we're talking about. So self-belief is self-efficacy. It's what you believe you're capable of achieving, results you believe you're capable of achieving externally. So
Right.
your capabilities, your competencies, your belief in figuring something out and getting it done, which doesn't
Mhm.
always mean I know how to do everything. It means I believe in my ability to go learn and then implement.
Right. Sure.
So
Sure.
through my illness, through everything that I have been through and have come out the other side with two beautiful children and becoming pain-free, all being told I could never have either one of those things,
Mhm.
I grew a lot of self-belief through just
Sure.
trial and error, action, and getting results over and over and over and over again. So
Yeah.
self-belief is created through action.
Sure.
Self-worth is its own little, it's like a symbiotic relationship. If that's external, self-worth is internal.
Mhm.
Self-worth is, do I believe I'm worthy of the results I'm trying to get? Do I
Mhm.
believe I'm worthy of holding the standards I'm going to need to hold along the way to get to my goals? Am I surrounding myself with happy, healthy people that are aligned with my goals versus just anybody because I'm a people pleaser and I love to appease and dim and take on everything for everybody except for myself? And you can hear even in just those descriptions where women would automatically be low in that because we are brought up constantly to be everything for everyone else, typically at the
Yeah.
expense of ourselves, just automatically to be seen as a good, capable, competent woman. It's who are we for other people on average.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I do see that. I see a lot of that, and I saw it in myself when I came into to not only working with the women I was working for before I partnered with Next Level University, but
Mhm.
within Next Level University, that was where I got that distinction. Alan, he's our CEO, computer engineer, business major, just genius of a man.
Sure.
And he was like, "Oh my gosh, Amy, I see you in me. I recognize that you have high self-belief and really low self-worth."
Oh,
And I was like,
just
"Oh." And once you see it, you can't unsee it.
yeah.
And so the last, so for 4 years straight, my lens was, okay, does this increase or decrease my self-worth? Does this person, place, thing, idea, thought, anything increase or decrease my self-worth?
Right.
And that's what I myself have been working on very heavily. And it has been completely transformational. I feel like an entirely different person while also the most myself after
Mhm.
going through that kind of work and having that kind of strict lens. And that's what I see in a lot of the women. Now, we still get people who have a little bit of low self-belief. They're not quite there with believing in
Yeah.
the goals that they want to achieve and things, and that's okay. We're not born with a certain level of self-belief or self-worth, and we're stuck that way. We can absolutely build it through action, through practices, through intention, through awareness, and it is something that we can continue to grow in forever. I continue to grow my self-belief, my self-worth, and plan to forever because you evolve, life evolves, things change, and you can grow through that and keep growing your self-belief and self-worth through that. And then consistency is a funny one. Consistency, some people are just absolute beasts. They will be so consistent. If you just tell them, hey, here's the thing you need to do, they're like, yep, not done every day. And then there's people who really, really, really struggle with it. These people
Mhm.
tend to burn out quickly, though. So it really depends, right? So we always want to bring in, I think the biggest one is sustainability. If I had to pick one of like 5-ish categories of consistency, sustainability is one, especially if you get a high achiever where they're struggling to bring in sustainability because they'll go from 0 to 10 because they believe in themselves so much.
And yes, and that's when we want the whole enchilada, right?
That's right. Yeah.
And so, yeah, give it to me now.
Yes.
And of course, that's well, it's like any diet that anybody's ever been on. Yeah, yeah. Can
Yeah.
you sustain that? 500 calories a day, maybe for 2 days if you're lucky.
Yeah.
At least
Yeah. And
that's
then
been my experience.
then you're going to start feeling a certain way and it's not going to be great. And
Yeah,
that's it. Sustainability is so key to everything. And it's really, really important. If you look at the goals that you have that you want to achieve, not only do you need to give yourself the grace of time so that you can be consistent and leverage the compound effect to get the results you actually want to get, but you need to do it in a sustainable way that honors the lifestyle you have right now. Yes, we're building towards a bigger, better, brighter future. That's amazing. But we also have the life we have right now. And we need to start
yeah,
just inserting things that are sustainable in the life you have right now to be able to build towards that over time. And that's where people just need, I think, a little help. I think they need a little validation in it too, that it's
yeah,
okay to start
yeah.
small. You're a working mom of children and all of these things. I have some incredible mothers that I get to work with. And it's like, no, we're going to implement something for 10 minutes in a day. And it's going to be hard for you to find that 10 minutes, but that's where we're going to
Mhm.
start. And no, you don't
Absolutely.
have to start at an hour and not be consistent with it because you can't find that hour anywhere in your day. We're going to start with 10 minutes. And then as that 10 minutes becomes easy, then we grow. Then our capacity grows and everything grows. So we're going to, start small, but always increase along the way.
Mhm. Right, right. I love that. I want to circle back a little bit to the whole self-worth thing because here I am, you have children that are not that much older than my grandchildren. So we have this age difference, right? And I'm thinking, well, that's what it was like growing up in the 50s, 60s, and 70s for me was well, you weren't actually anybody as a person. except you had the label of servant, take care of everybody, and the people pleasing. Oh my goodness, that just was like, if you want to go along and you want to get along, then you just respond to everybody else's needs. And it took me, oh goodness, it well, I guess the bottom line was it took cancer for me to come full face to the idea that I believed in everybody else's worth, but I didn't believe I was worthy. I didn't believe I deserved. And I had been working in the personal growth arena for years by that time. And it just shook me to have this recognition that I thought everybody else was worthy, but I wasn't. And I'm going, holy crap, how come I didn't see that? But you don't see it till you see it, right? And I think it's wonderful that you came to this, your own realization and that point way sooner than I did. I mean, I had some of it, obviously, because once I got enmeshed in personal growth and saw myself as a real person, not just a server, then life began differently for me. But life is messy and things happen. You might have experienced some of that as I have. So I think self-worth is such a vital piece to look at, that all that we've been taught is so in error. Like, so many of the things that I grew up believing, I discovered weren't actually true. And
Yes.
somebody else's belief that was given to them by somebody else, by, the generational thing stacks back and back and back and back. And so do you find these women wrestling with that, with trying to just find their feet and find their place?
Yeah, very much so. And fighting for their worth externally, right? How can I
Mhm.
serve others better? Even when you're in the personal development space and you yourself are trying to help others grow and be, and you're not in that space of worthiness yourself, that's still you fighting to be of value, to be of worth. And that's a beautiful thing, but it's done backwards. You're going from the outside in versus the inside out.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
that's, we can choose to gain value from external things, but it's different when it's a choice from the inside versus I only have value if this thing goes my way on the outside or I get perceived a certain way externally. Like we can gain value in motherhood and our career and in all of these things and feel intrinsic value from that as long as it's from the inside out. That's a
Yeah.
healthy way to have value from that versus the outside in. Because like you said, when you're at such high risk when it's from the outside in to be run by other people's values and other people's beliefs. They get
Oh,
projected onto you very
exactly.
easily.
And
Very
and
easily.
and society's expectations, right? Because, just the same as we're told in high school, okay, pick a career and figure it out. Well, that's all external stuff. They don't say, okay, what are 100 things you love about yourself? Let's
Yeah.
start internally first of all, and what are your hopes and dreams, and what are your, they don't know how to, they didn't know how to do that, and I'm not sure they know how to do that even now. So,
No, I would actually say it's less now than ever,
yeah,
unfortunately.
yeah,
I
yeah.
homeschool my kids. So.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. Well, I wish that there had been more homeschooling when my son was growing up, because I was a little afraid of sending him to school.
Yeah.
But I also did not feel I had the capacity to teach him myself. And they didn't have the resources in those days that they
Yeah.
have now. And so, life gets messy. We stumble and bumble and do the best we can and fail forward how many times?
Absolutely. And I think something that gets talked about a lot or gets perceived like incorrectly in this field is that life gets easier as you grow. And it just doesn't. However, you become more capable to navigate it. Life is always chaotic and reactive and stuff's happening all the time.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
the time. The
Absolutely.
world, the economy, your children, the household, the dog, like whatever it is. It's
Yeah.
very reactive.
Yeah.
That actually doesn't really change. It really
No.
doesn't.
No, you're right.
You change.
Yeah.
You change in the scenarios, which is
Yes.
really an empowering space to be. When you actually begin to understand and take control over the fact that you don't control a lot of things. In fact, you control very little. The only thing we have full control over is ourselves, what we say, think, do, feel, believe.
Yeah, exactly.
That's it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now we have a layer of influence.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Sure
We
we do.
can influence our household environment, our spouses, our children, the people we guide in the world. We can influence people and environments for sure, but we can't fully control it. Any parent knows that right off the bat.
And the absolute second that you strive to take control, that's when it all falls apart.
It's a disaster. It's a disaster. And then everything outside of that, we actually have no control over,
No. Oh, no. No,
but
no.
it does affect us.
Yes, it
So
does.
when we can learn to control ourselves within the things that we can't control, that's a really empowering place to be. And that's where self-belief and self-worth can really come in handy, because
Yes.
self-belief teaches you that you can handle anything. You just have to take enough time to figure it out. You're going to
Right.
figure it out, and
Right.
you're
Yeah.
going to be able to pivot and create something in this chaos. You believe in your
Yes.
capabilities of doing that. That's amazing to be in that position. Self-belief, if I even had to pick one of the three, self-belief, self-worth, and consistency, that's the one.
Mhm.
It is.
Yes.
Because not only does self-belief show up in self-worth and consistency,
Mhm.
it's a through line of people who are successful, who can navigate the chaos of life, of any
Yes.
kind of journey, entrepreneurship,
Sure.
all sorts of things. It's
Sure.
chaos, the Wild
Sure.
West out here. But if
Yeah.
you believe that you can figure it out and adapt to the pivots and do what you need to do to get your results, that's a superpower of a personality trait and a huge piece of your identity, which is amazing. And
Oh,
then
yes.
self-worth along the way, self-worth teaches you not to align yourself with the wrong kinds of people and put
Yeah.
yourself in environments that aren't good for you.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Mhm.
Like shutting off the news.
Absolutely. That's causing weight on you and chaos in your mind, which it's designed to do.
Yeah.
Step away. Your life is not going to fall apart if you don't know what's going on. The chaos in the world and things. Actually, if anything, you'll start to feel more centered and you'll start to focus more on your own environment that you do have control over, rather
Oh,
than giving so
exactly.
much power away to the things in the world that you don't have control over.
Yeah.
Now, I believe that we should have our beliefs and we should all have our things. If you're the one who recycles to the nth degree because you believe it, like that's amazing. We all should have our little things like that where we're
Yeah.
doing
Oh,
our
sure.
part
Yeah.
where we're
Yeah.
doing our part. And I think that that's
Sure.
really important too. But
Yeah.
still, what is your part that you have control over, that you believe in, and then do more of that. But self-worth, like we should break that down. So I want your listeners to be able to have a takeaway for
Sure.
themselves. So if
Mhm.
you picture a pyramid with 5 layers. Now a pyramid
Mhm.
can only go as tall as it is wide. The base is really, really important. And the
Sure.
first layer of the pyramid of self-worth is keeping the promises you make to yourself,
Mm.
which is action. That's where it ties into self-belief.
Yep.
Keep the promises you make to yourself. There's that cliche saying, would you love yourself and trust yourself as much as you do the person who broke as many promises to you as you have broken to yourself? The
That's an eye opener.
beginning, yeah, the beginning of that didn't make sense, but you're picking up what I'm putting down. I think I
Yeah.
said that poorly, but it's that. So how often are you saying you're going to do something and you don't? That's you breaking trust and breaking self-worth, self-respect every time.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
how often can you keep the promises to yourself? Do it as much as possible.
Sure.
Say you're going to do something, get it done, and then have that moment of, I did the thing I said I was going to do.
Right.
Lock it in. Lock it
Yeah.
in.
Yeah. Or, and I maybe I'll just add to that, or have the courage to say, no, no, that doesn't fit for me, or that I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to promise that because I don't feel like it right now. and
Yes.
then do that. Don't give in. You said no, then keep that promise.
Yes, which literally is where the next 2 layers come in. The
Mhm.
next 2 layers are boundary and social courage.
Sure. Yeah.
So layer 2 is boundaries, which is learning to have boundaries with yourself and others. And social courage is the next layer because it takes courage to be able to implement boundaries. There's one personality type that's so good at boundaries. They're like, oh yeah, I do that all the time, of course. And the rest of us are like, you can do that? What?
Where did you get permission to do that?
Who said you could do that? You can just say no.
Really?
Yeah, 2 guesses which category I'm in.
Actually, in a self-esteem workshop I ran one time, I created a bunch of ways to say no to soften it for my participants because no seems so harsh to them. And I could say, and some of it sounded like blatant excuses, but so what? You know, anything that interrupts that, "Oh, I can't say no, then try it. Let me get back to you. That doesn't fit for me right now." All of those things that help you move into that new pattern.
Absolutely. And boundaries with other people as well. Speaking of, we talked about the control circles there, what we can control, what we can influence, and then all the things we can't. We can't control other people. And I see a lot of people setting boundaries that are actually more like rules. Rules try and dictate other people. So if we're, in an argument with someone and they start talking nasty and not nice to us and we say, "Hey, knock it off. You can't talk to me that way."
Mhm.
That's not a boundary, that's a rule. You're trying to dictate what they do. They
Sure.
kind of still can. They can still say whatever they want. They can act however they want. You don't have control over that. What you do
No,
have
no.
control over is yourself.
Yeah.
A real boundary is, you know what, if you keep speaking to me this way, I am going to leave this conversation. I'm going
Yeah.
to choose to leave the room.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then you give them the opportunity. You give them the opportunity to meet you where you're
Mhm.
at. And if they keep doing it, here's where the courage comes in. You actually have to leave. You have
Yes.
to do it. Right? For
Absolutely.
your self-respect, for your
Yeah.
self-worth, and to teach people how to treat you.
For sure. Yes. Yes, absolutely. Because they'll treat us the way they want to until they realize, and if that aligns, great
Yeah.
with you. But if you don't like it and you don't say anything, well, that's your responsibility.
It is. It is on you. You have taught others how they can treat you.
Yeah. Yeah.
You really have. And that hurts and that sucks to be able to say, but the more you can accept that and take control over that, the better
Mhm.
chance you're going to have of
Sure.
making it right for yourself,
Mhm.
of doing something differently next time. If you take ownership of, oh, I show people how they can treat me.
Yes.
Right? It doesn't feel good initially. That sucks.
No, no, it's
But this
hard.
work isn't all sunshine and rainbows. The biggest, greatest pieces of your growth actually come with a lot of discomfort. And so practicing boundaries, do it with someone who's less close to home if you really struggle with it. And then it gets a little harder, maybe with your parents or even a spouse or a child or whatever that looks like. It's harder as it gets closer to home, but that's where the social courage comes in for you to really truly be your authentic self.
Mhm.
Courage is you showing up as your authentic self as best as you possibly can. Now, some of us have to go on quite a journey to even discover who that is, and that's okay.
Isn't that right? Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
okay. To what you like, what you don't like, who you are, what your values, your beliefs, what were yours all along, what were not, what
Yep.
values, beliefs were not yours all along that you can learn to let go of. That's amazing. Social courage when you act that out publicly. Social courage, courage in general is really, really important for self-worth, but you have to know who that is
Yes.
and what you stand for. So that's, a layer all
Mhm.
on its own that can take some time and some work. Those were my 2 big ones
Yes, for sure.
for
For
me,
sure.
boundaries and social courage for me, because I would love
Mhm.
to dim to just appease others and not, rock the boat. And, people who have benefited your whole life for you not having any boundaries, when you start to implement them, it gets a little get a
A
little
little
miffed
dodgy.
about it, right? And you really start to see who is worthy of being in your life and who isn't, who's
Yeah.
just benefited from you versus
Yeah.
who truly loves you and who wants to be there and see you grow and thrive.
Yeah.
And so the next layer, we got 2 more layers to go. The next layer is investing in yourself. How often are you investing in yourself? And when, people hear that, they think, "Oh, I need to go spend money on a weekend retreat or this kind of event and things." And that's amazing. If you can go do that, do it. But I'm
Sure.
talking daily.
Yeah.
What is something sustainable that is daily for you that you can invest in yourself? You listening to this podcast right now is you putting time and energy into yourself. That's amazing. That's an
Mhm.
investment into yourself. Didn't cost you anything. You can do it while you're multitasking, doing the dishes, folding laundry, whatever that looks like. This is you putting time into you. This is how
Yes.
easy it can be.
Yes.
And sometimes there's things we're doing every day that we just need to switch the intention around.
Ah,
If you
such as?
shower every day, or like me, I drink tea frequently, and
Yes.
my first cup of the day is very intentional. I'm gonna have that cup of tea anyways.
Yes.
I'm going for
Yep.
the caffeine. I want my cup of tea. It's for me. However, the first cup of the day, if I have intention around it of like, "Hey, what mug am I gonna use today? What am I feeling? Is it
Mm.
the sunshine and rainbows? Is it this black kind of moody one? Is it clear and transparent like today? What am I
Mhm.
feeling?" Just a little
Mhm.
moment of intention of this is for me. Let's match
Yeah.
the mug to the vibe.
Sure.
What tea am I going to be having today? I'll smell them. I'll listen to my body. I'll see where I'm at, even cyclically. Like, what does my body need? What tea am I having?
Yeah.
And then that goes in my cup. And then it's just very, very intentional. I'm going to be doing it anyways. People are
Yeah,
like that
sure,
with
of
their morning
course.
cup of coffee. What's your morning cup of coffee look like? Is it automatic or is it something that is a ritual for you?
Mhm.
You're doing it either way. Make the
Yes.
intention. Your daily shower, if you're a daily shower, whatever that looks like, skincare, take a few extra moments for yourself. I love learning every day. That's a huge way that I pour
Mhm.
into myself every day. I listen to a
Sure.
podcast and some sort of audio every day. But I
Yes.
also make sure I listen to music every day because that also fills my soul in a huge way. There's so many little things that you can do that fills your cup that keeps giving others that you serve the best of you instead of constantly what is left of you.
Oh,
Invest
yes.
in yourself.
Yeah. Isn't that true? I mean, let's face it, you cannot give from an empty cup.
No.
And sometimes we're so unaware that we don't even realize that our cup was empty 3 weeks ago.
Well, that's just it. And here's the thing, we actually can. Women can give from an empty cup until it is shattering. We're so good at it.
Yeah.
We're so good at it, but that cup breaks eventually.
Oh, it does.
Really does. And so when we can start recognizing the signs of when we start to feel depleted and what that looks like and when that is coming for us, we can, you know, get ahead of it and make
Yeah.
sure that we don't crash and burn because that's when we start to feel really bad because everything that we are doing, all the hats that we are wearing crash and burn with us. So then what we do is we take our couple days of crashing and burning and then we go right back to 10 because we feel so bad about the days we took off. And
Yeah.
so we're yo-yoing constantly because if you stay at a 10 the whole time, you're going to go back and burn out regardless. So it's about understanding your state, understanding what's sustainable for you in a day, and making sure that you're doing little things to invest in yourself every day. That builds self-worth. That's showing you that you are worthy of taking care of, you are worthy of investing in. And
Yeah.
that can look like time, energy, money, whatever that looks like.
Sure, sure, absolutely. Oh, it's a vital focus and one that my personal, I call it my day off from the world. When when I'm feeling as if, okay, I've had enough. And I could have been having a great deal of fun along the way, but there comes a point when I'm empty inside and I'm full of everything else. And I go, okay, day off from the world. And it's literally like 9 to 5 where I don't get out of bed unless I need the bathroom or a snack. And then I go back to bed and I do whatever I want to do for the whole day, just exactly the way I want. And then about 4:30, 5 o'clock, I start to perk back up again and I feel, oh, this is good. Okay, now I can rejoin the world.
Yes. You're away from the world day. I love that so much. I call mine nothing and no one day.
Mhm,
I
mhm.
have those days too where it's like, okay,
Yeah,
today's a nothing and no one day.
yeah,
I will
yeah,
interact with my children and my husband. They fill my cup so deeply. I'm so grateful for that. But I'm
sure.
not doing anything front facing like this. We're not going anywhere.
Yeah,
I'm going to pick my favorite snacks, watch some of my shows. Daddy's going to do something with you so I can actually have some for sure downtime. But
yeah.
it's my nothing and no one day.
Mhm, mhm.
Sacred.
Yes, it's just vital. Well, there's our big recommendation for the day.
Yeah, no kidding. That's amazing. And some of us, don't have the support around us to be able to do that. And how can you
No,
maybe just bring moments of that in for yourself?
absolutely,
How can you give
absolutely.
yourself permission to put a few things down for a day?
Yeah,
The world's not going
yeah,
to fall apart.
yeah.
Maybe you just need to put some stuff down for a day and give yourself permission to do so, and you can pick it back up tomorrow or at 5 o'clock when you're feeling like, oh, you know what? I actually feel pretty good now. I feel like I can take on a couple loads of laundry and whatever else. But
Exactly.
whatever
Yeah,
that looks like. And then the tip of the pyramid is comparison. Are you comparing for inspiration or are you
mhm.
comparing to a detriment? Most of us are comparing to a detriment.
Yes, yes.
So we say we want to compare apples to apples. You want to be
Mhm.
comparing to someone who is ahead of you in the thing that you value, who has a similar lifestyle as you, beliefs as you, similar age group, even similar starting points. Like we want to make sure we're comparing apples to apples and not, me almost 40 comparing my fitness journey to someone who's 20 and has no kids and has a gym in her basement. That's a mistake.
Right, exactly.
That's not the same.
No, 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 and is never going to be
It is never
probably.
going to be. So what I can do is look at someone who's ahead of me. Maybe she's in her mid 40s, she's fit and she's done it all from home workouts because I love my home workouts. I have no desire to go to a gym, nor do I even have a gym in my town. So it would just bring
No.
me way too much time. Too much
Yeah.
time. I'm not
Yeah.
putting the effort in. But I'll work out from home.
Mhm.
Absolutely. And I can be inspired by someone who's doing that as well, who has also maybe raised children and finds ways to fit it into her day. That's inspirational, not
Yes.
detrimental.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and when we take agency for ourselves in that way, nowadays, we are blessed with so many different ways and so many different types of ways that we can look after ourselves physically and emotionally, spiritually, mentally, you name it, that we have choice that we never had before. Sometimes there's a little too much choice in sorting it out. But really, if I want to do chair yoga, well, I can just go on YouTube and there I am. I'm sitting in my living room on my chair and just 20 minutes and off we go. Well, why not? Who says, oh no, if you don't do 50 reps of this or that, no, I'm not doing that. If you can and you're able and you're at the gym, great. But if you're not, well, you have choice. You're not locked into to one way or the other. So cool.
That's right. It's taking an inspired decision like the chair yoga and making it to what is relevant, sustainable, and doable for you at the time. And then as you grow
Yes.
your capacity, your skill, your mobility, whatever that looks like, maybe the reps will increase, but let's not overdo it today so that you don't do it again.
This is the thing. There's days when I forget that the 18-year-old that's inside me is not manifesting outward quite the same way. So I think I might be able to do all of that. Oh, I'm all gung ho. And then my body says, Sue, hello, why did you do that way? Oh, okay. Back off. And there's this, I love that word sustainability because
Mhm.
it's so challenging, and I've personally found this. It's so challenging to keep my word to myself because I picked something that was unrealistic, that
Mhm.
wasn't in keeping with, and so then it's an experiment, right? You fail at it and say, oh, well, what wasn't working about that? Well, I see now. It would have been better if I had chosen this, or this, and so I know I'm constantly going back to the drawing board and saying, okay, let's just fine tune this a little bit. And the hope is that eventually we fine tune our beingness and our ways of doing things to the point where then it's just a minor tweak, not a wholesale, oh, I got to totally reinvent myself now.
Right. That's right. We're constantly, if you're, conscious about it, we're constantly doing this. We expand and then we hone within that expansion. We expand and
Yes,
we hone into what actually works. Expand and hone. We're constantly doing this. And the
exactly.
more you do it, the smaller, it gets, which is amazing, right?
Yes.
And so you're speaking like someone who has true self-belief. So self-belief, when you have high self-belief, we typically aim high and have to eat some humble pie regularly because we're delusional optimists. So we have to eat the humble pie to grow, and that's okay. We're
Yeah.
okay with that because failure, I put this in quotations, doesn't hit us as a detriment as it does
No,
other personality types. We're like,
no.
oh, that didn't work. Well, let's do it differently this time. And we just move on. And so we eat humble pie a lot. And that's okay. We're the delusional optimists of the world. Oh yeah, of course I can do these 20 things today. Obviously. Oh, I got 3 done. Amazing.
Well, and it's an interesting switch because I love that term delusional optimist because I tell people, I'm the quintessential Pollyanna, I'm highly optimistic and so on. And delusional would be a good addition to that because I always think that I'm far more capable until I began to realize, Sue, actually, there's some good things about. So I told this to a person one time who was very goal focused, and you put things on your list, and I'm a relaxed goal focuser in some ways, and so but I would still have my to do list. So I'd put 10 things on my to do list. I was so determined I was going to get through that. Well, I remember a point in time when I looked at my to do list, and I gave this big sigh. So I thought, okay, number one, how badly do I need to do that today? And not that badly. Cross it off the list. And so then I'm telling people that, oh yeah, I did my to-do list, and I was able to cross 6 things off without actually doing them. And they looked at me in shock and amazement and said, what? That's not how that works. And I said, well, it worked for me. I got done the things that were the most important, and then I felt good about it all. So,
Oh, that right there is a skill all on its own that is so worth developing. We call it delete, delegate, and double down. Double down on the things that are important, delete the things that are not important, keep them on the list. And if you see that they keep moving to the bottom of the list and you just never do it, and your life's not falling apart, maybe it doesn't even need to be there anymore.
exactly. Yeah.
And there's this amazing quadrant framework that's all about urgent and important. And
Yes.
so many people have in the bottom left quadrant, it's not urgent and it's not important, but you're treating it like it's in the top right of urgent and important. Women do this, especially. To us, everything is urgent and important.
Oh, yes.
So
Yes,
we actually
absolutely.
really need to learn, like it's a learning curve to understand that everything isn't urgent and isn't important. That was me. I was urgent and important. Everything's urgent and important, of course, like everything.
Yeah.
No, there are things that are important and not urgent. And believe it or not, there are things that are urgent that aren't important as well. There's 4 categories there. And when you can gain the skill to really discern what's urgent and important and the rest can kind of move around regularly,
Oh, absolutely.
oh, there's so much freedom in that.
Yes, yes, absolutely. And isn't that a lot of what we're all looking for is that freedom and that joy in being alive every day and doing what's most important to us.
Yes. Yeah, it
And
creates a lot of peace, a lot of certainty.
yeah,
And certainty is great because, if you have clarity, let's call it, clarity creates certainty. And when you have certainty, that creates action. And then when you're in action, that creates momentum.
yes, yes,
And so when you can create things and create a life and create an identity of someone who is really clear on who they are, what they believe, what they value, what they don't, all of those things, that gives you so much clarity on your actions and to the
yes,
results that you want to have momentum in.
absolutely, absolutely. So, Amy, if you could wave your magic wand over all the women in the whole world and that would spread your message, what short message would you want women most to know?
It is. It's self-awareness is a superpower. It really is.
Okay.
More you know about yourself
Mhm.
and how you show up around others in the world, the more empowered you're going to be. The more you understand your mental, physical, emotional states, the more you understand your beliefs, your values, your worth, all of those things, and start showing up in those and letting go of things that aren't. It's amazing where women can go and what they can do and who they become. And there's so much in that. I mean, it sounds like a lot: mental, physical, emotional, spiritual, if that's for you as well. Like even just the physical aspect of it, understanding that you are a cyclical being and you show up differently week to week to week and that it's normal. And there's a week where you're so energetic and there's a week where you feel like a potato. That's normal. We don't need to give
Yes.
ourselves crap for the potato week. We just need to work within it. Like,
Yep.
so understanding yourself to the deepest layers and continuing to do that kind of work, your
Mhm.
external environment will shift around you in some of the best ways.
Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I've certainly experienced that the work is not done, and except maybe when we take our last breath.
Mhm.
And I mean, I've been at this the whole personal development road for 50 years now,
Wow.
and I'm still going. I learned more new things about myself last week that I didn't learn before. So it's just an ever evolving, ever changing thing, and I celebrate that. There was a time when I thought, oh, am I not ever going to be done? But when I accepted that it's the journey of self-awareness and self-growth and self-development is not a done kind of journey. It's not a destination kind of journey. And so maybe when we take our last breath, well, okay, I'm done now. But up to that point, keep going. Just embrace it and celebrate it, and because we're as humans, we're infinitely fascinating, I find. And the more we embrace who we really are, then we can show up for everybody else as our best self. And that's worth gold, I think. So wonderful. Or maybe
Mhm.
it's platinum now. I'm not sure. Anyway. Well, Amy, tell us then, in wrapping up, how people can find you and learn more about the work that you're doing.
Oh, I'm a simple creature. I'm only on Instagram and Facebook as far as those platforms. We seem to
Okay.
have the best success there, and I can't even with other ones. You and I were talking about technology before we hit record here, and so I like to simplify that as much as possible. But what I can
Sure.
guarantee is that when you reach out to me, it's just at Amy Lenius on Instagram and Facebook, that you get me. You don't get an AI. You don't get an assistant. You get me because we deeply believe now more than ever that human to human connection is the most, beautiful commodity that we can offer the world. And if you like this conversation, I'd love to have a conversation with you.
Lovely. That's wonderful. Well, we'll put all of that in the show notes for all you listeners. And Amy, thank you so much for joining me today. This has been just not only a delightful conversation, but very fascinating in your focus. I love the pyramid, and I encourage my listeners, watch this again, because there was a lot going on here, so you might have
A
missed a
lot.
few bits. so
Hmm.
so go back in when we walk this path and do this journey and begin to realize that we are truly magnificent. It's just we kind of forgot along the way. We get buried by the depth and breadth of life going on around us, and forget sometimes that we're it, but that we're the link, and what we do matters, and what we do for ourselves matters. So reach out to Amy. She can guide you through this process in a way that I know is going to help you climb your mountains and get where you most want to go. So thank you again, Amy. This was an absolute delight, and we'll look forward to all of us moving forward on Magnify Your Magnificence. That's it for today's episode of Magnify Your Magnificence. If this resonated, hit subscribe so you never miss what's coming next. And if you're ready to go even deeper, come join me at magnifywithsue.com. I'd love to keep walking this path with you.